This video covers trig identities and solving trig equations for A-level pure maths. We'll go from the core identity all the way through to quadratic type trig equations, and we'll use the same two-pass structure throughout, a full worked process first, then a simplified recap at the end. Here is the core identity shown on a unit circle. For any angle x on the circle, sin squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1. We'll look at this flat in 2 dimensions first, then tilt the same circle into a 3-dimensional view so you can see it from another angle. This identity rearranges 2 useful ways. First rearrangement, sin a squared x equals 1 minus cosine squared x. This just moves cosine squared x across to the other side and flips its sign. Second rearrangement, cosine squared x equals 1 minus sine squared x. Same idea, just isolating cosine squared x instead. Keep both of these in mind, we will use one of them very shortly. Next identity, tangent of x equals sine of x divided by cosine of x. As a quick worked check, tangent of 60 degrees equals sine of 60 divided by cosine of 60. Which is the square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2, giving the square root of 3. Now let's solve a simple trig equation. Sine of x equals 0.5 for x between 0 and 360 degrees. Your calculator only gives you one answer, the principal value, but on the unit circle sign is positive in 2 quadrants, so there will be more than one solution. Before we reveal them, pause for a second and predict how many solutions does sine of x equals 0.5 actually have in this range, 0 to 360 degrees? The answer is 2. Sin is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, that's the S and A regions on the cast diagram. The calculator gives 30 degrees directly, and the second solution is 180 minus 30, which is 150 degrees. Now a harder equation that needs an identity substitution first. Solve 2 sin squared x plus 3 cosine x equals 3 for x between 0 and 180 degrees. Notice this mixes sine squared and cosine, so we substitute using sine squared x equals 1 minus cosine squared x. Substituting gives 2 times the quantity 1 minus cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x equals 3. Expanding and simplifying, 2 minus 2 cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x equals 3, which rearranges to 2 cosine squared x minus 3 cosine x plus 1 equals 0. This is now a quadratic, but in cosine x instead of x. Factorizing this quadratic gives open bracket 2 cosine x minus 1 close bracket times open bracket cosine x minus 1 close bracket equals 0. So either cosine x equals 1/2 or cosine x equals 1. Converting each root back to an angle. Cosine x equals 1 gives x equals 0 degrees. Cosine x equals 1/2 gives 2 solutions using the cast rule. Since cosine is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 4, x equals 60 degrees. Or x equals 360 minus 60, which is 300 degrees. So we have 3 candidate answers, 0 degrees, 60 degrees, and 300 degrees. But remember our range was only 0 to 180 degrees. Pause and predict which of these should be discarded for falling outside that range. The answer is 300 degrees. It falls outside 0 to 180, so we discard it. Always check every root against the given domain before finalizing your answers. The final solutions are x equals 0 degrees and x equals 60 degrees. Let's recap the full process from start to finish. Step 1. Remember sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1 and its 2 rearrangements. Step 2. Remember tangent x equals sine x divided by cosine x. Step 3. For simple equations, use the calculator for one solution, then use the cast quadrant rule to find every other solution in range. Step 4. If sin squared and cosine appear together, substitute using an identity to get everything in terms of one function. Step 5. Solve the resulting quadratic by factorizing or the quadratic formula, then convert each root back into an angle using cast. Step 6. Check every angle against the given range and discard anything outside it. Watch out, the single most common mistake is stopping after the calculator gives you just one principal value angle, and forgetting to find the other solutions in the range using the cast rule. Simplified version, core identity, sine squared x plus cosine squared x equals 1, tangent x equals sine x divided by cosine x. Use cast to find all solutions, not just one. If needed, substitute an identity first to form a quadratic, solve the quadratic, convert roots to angles. Always check the given range and discard anything outside it.